every call ain't gonna go your way, and everything ain't gonna work in your manner. You know. The next one. Remember, I think I brought this up to you earlier. You know, me, guy over in the corner, Coach She, you know, you keep pretty good, talented teams. You know, Dame is in the house. Eastside football's booming. You know what I mean? And, you know, that young man over in the other side, D. I know his team's always kind of booming and everything. I I felt like with a good team that I had when I play a team that is lesser in talent or competition, she put the rings up, man. So this why I don't like
Yeah,
these
you
guys,
know,
man.
this is
They
exactly
get
what
out here
you
and they
do.
get them
You know,
attention.
he had to do it. You knew
I'm
it was
just paying
coming at some
attention.
point.
Yeah, well,
I'm just
okay,
paying
okay.
attention. I'm
I'm
just paying
sorry.
attention.
Flag on the play. Yeah, here we go. You know what I mean? So, but check it out.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
When you playing a team that's lesser in, like, I guess, talent or just skill level competition, whatever, right? Is it that, like, the lesser teams are getting more of an advantage, or is it that, you know, the standards are that high for the better team, and so if you get the call against you, you should understand that because when you are a better team. Like, I mean, I don't know if you got what I'm saying. You follow
No,
me on that one?
I get exactly what you're saying, and I'm going to be straight up with you. We kind of take everything into account, to be honest with you. At the varsity level, we're trying to call everything as equal as we can, but when a game gets out of hand, we're going to kind of lean. Okay, you're up 35-0. Do we really need to get that holding penalty because the other team gained 5 yards? And this is where I am talking to the kids. I do a lot of preventative officiating.
Yep.
So I'm in the middle of the field and I'm talking with the kids. I'm like, guys, what's that going to do? It's going to elongate the game. That's when the injuries occur and different things like that. You're up 35-0. We got a winding clock. Let's just get everybody out of here healthy at this point in time.
Right.
So in a scenario like that, when the game's already lopsided, we're probably going to keep the flags a little bit deeper and do more preventative officiating. Early in the game, though, it don't matter who's the better team on paper coming in. We're going to call everything as we see it, because we want the competitive game and we want everybody to be there to learn. When I start getting with the JV and the freshman levels, I mean, heck, I joke around. I want to keep my flags in my car when I work a freshman game. I don't want to throw a flag ever because that's still a learning period. But safety fouls and all that type of stuff, yeah, we're definitely going to bang regardless of what the scenario is. If there's a cut block or a clip or a face mask, that's the stuff we can't let go. But the holds, unless it's completely egregious where the guy's getting mugged or something like that, we're going to be like, hey, guys, work your hands inside. Unfortunately, what tends to happen and what you're talking about with the dominant team going against a lesser team, dominant team does tend to rise above it. And they do tend to be able to overcome what might be called against them. And we don't go into a game saying, well, okay, this team we know is a better team, but they're known as being dirty. Well, listen, last game they may have been dirty. We don't know what was going on at home. We don't know what was going on in school that day. They could have just had a bad day. Tonight's a new night. Let's go out and officiate the game what we see tonight, not what we saw in the past. So even with all the huddle stuff, yeah, I go and I study film and see what the other teams are doing, but I'm just trying to catch tendencies, just formationally for me to see, hey, okay, this tackle, he likes to grab and hold a lot, so I'm just going to keep an eye on that. But anything dirty like that, you don't know what's going on. So I'm trying to give everybody an equal playing field as much as I can.
Man, I hope these people are tuning in, man, because it's some good stuff. Because you get the freshman games, they want you to rep the freshman game like the BCS National Championship. Like, I'm feeling the energy. I just hope these people was paying attention. Hey, D, man, what is like down there by you, man? Like, tell me officiating, you know, or just basically like kind of like, you know, like what's the football like down that area?
Was it
Chamberlain, Dan.
Oh yeah, me. We've in Oklahoma we kind of get like it's the good and the bad, and sometimes the ugly. But I've been a part of some small school football, and it seems like we get the lesser of the crews sometimes. A lot more things kind of get over, and we all feel like it's always against our team, right? Like that's just kind of how it is. I've also been able to be a part of some of the biggest teams in the state and go to those games and coach, and you get the best of the best ref crews in the state. So, I've kind of seen both ends of it. What you're talking about, does a worse team overall coming in get a disadvantage or an advantage with the reffing? I just see that in the size of the teams that are going at it. Which we all want the best crew, but we also understand there's a lack of people right now. And you can't, you're not going to get, look, I'm really close to the Tulsa area. So we've got the Owassos, the Bixby's, the Jinx, the Unions, the teams y'all probably heard of, no matter where you're at. Right. But you probably haven't heard of like Stillwell and Jay and all these little towns. And so these reffing crews, they're just not going to be the same quality. Right. Because the games, I don't want to say they don't matter as much, but they're not as broadcast as much. And so I can see that. Being a guy who works on the internet and do I understand that how that works, right?
Okay. All in all, Coach Shambo, I don't mean to jump in on you, and we do get that around here too. I'm down in the Shore Conference predominantly, but even across the state, on the bigger games, on the higher profile games, they're trying to put. You got two of the better teams out there. We want to give them the best game. So you're going to get one of the better crews on that game. Now it cycles through. I'm biased to my crew. I think I'm on the best crew in the area, but you guys all think you got the best coaches in the area. So, and rightfully so. So because of the lack of numbers, there are going to be some crews that are a little bit better than others. And we've got a lot of games now that are starting to get played. And I think, Coach Jambo, we talked about this. Games are starting to go on Thursday nights because we don't have enough referees for Friday nights. Everybody wants Friday night lights, and there's just not enough of us. And now some teams are going on a Thursday night or a Saturday night so that they can get a crew, let alone the crew in there. So.
Yeah. We're small enough around in our area. We still see kind of like the hometown favorite. I've been at a school where the guy who was the head ref for the game also owned the contract to take care of the field and all the grass cutting at school, right? So it's like maybe his wife was like the superintendent. Maybe you shouldn't be here. Here's the deal: is he called us way harder than he called anyone else. So it didn't.
Yeah, it usually works opposite, right?
Like, hey man, give us a break. No,
I'm telling you, hey Derek, it happened to me this week. Yesterday, I was just telling the boys like my old social studies teacher was reffing my game. I thought I couldn't coach. He was giving me the business. Hey,
you're like, let's go, man. I wasn't that bad in class. I shut up and you told me to.
I'm not even Coach Massey. Don, get behind the line.
First name basis, you're in trouble.
No, I thought he was gonna call my mother after the game. Like, he raised his kid wrong. Where's his ball? He was giving me the business. But I mean, like, what I'm saying, like Daniel said, man, it's like, shoot. In those situations, some people would have probably thought I would have got every call.
Right.
That was my guy. You know what I mean? But it didn't turn out that way.
Nah. I mean, listen, we were, the last 2 weeks we played, in a certain district where, they only accommodate or only call for 5-man crews. So, you're going into these games, and Mike, you can attest to it, and you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's one of the better public school teams in this state. And so, when you're going to play these other schools or, within it, like, you're going to have a 5-man crew. And, guys like that, us that like kind of look at that stuff and, it matters to like that matters. Like, you got to be prepared for that where, hey, and it could work to your advantage. It could work to your disadvantage, right? If you're kind of, if you really want to look at the intricacies of it and you're getting a 5-man crew, well, maybe I can scheme up some things a certain way, or where they're going to be positioned where you might get that. Now that's diving into it into some depth. But, I feel, on the other hand, I feel bad for those guys. Like, now they got to put in extra work and do all that other kind of stuff. And they're going to, here they are just trying to go out there and ref on a Friday night, and they got a 5-man crew.
And I got to tell you, from my experience, when I first came up, we had basically half 5-man crews, half 6-man crews in our area, and now we've probably got only one 5-man crew So for us, the mechanics are different. So where my focal point is going to be now, I'm an umpire, so my keys are pretty much the same. I'm focusing in on the offensive line, but I now need to know that if the quarterback scrambles, I got to walk myself up to the offensive line because I got to see if the quarterback goes beyond the line of scrimmage. Right. Where in a 6-man game, I got 2 side wings that are holding the line of scrimmage. So it's little things like that people don't realize. And now I got a guy dead center playing center field behind me in a 5-man game, and 6, I got him 2 deep wings. So we know that we got the sidelines covered. So anything that kind of happens off to the sidelines, I'm letting the wings deal with it. But in a 5-man game, I got to hustle my butt over there. And now all of a sudden, some of these grass fields that we got, your spots might be off because some teams don't even line the hash marks. They just got like 1 tick. And
absolutely
so all of a sudden we're trying to find a mark after a scrum in the sidelines. So we're like, oh, this looks good.
Round it up.
Yeah, that's how that goes. I could dig it, though. I could dig it.
Yeah, because you ain't playing on any grass fields, bro.
Hey, baby, you gotta love the North, baby. Gotta love it, man. We do well up here, you know.
Yeah,
Coach James got a good turf field over there. You know, Coach G got a good turf field out there.
Yes, he does.
I got a beautiful turf field in the lovely.
You got one of the best.
You know, we got a few of them. Okay, that's
we know.
Interested.
Hey Don, can I ask Mr. Mike a question in regards to this Millville and Winslow controversy that's going on?
Shoot.
I don't know this one. Let me hear it.
Yeah, what's this?
You know, okay, so what is it? Okay, so the issue of the past interferences of between Cam Miller, Lazir Brooks, and Jaden Everett. They were saying, do referees call 4-star and 5-star guys differently than they call the standard athlete guy? Like you guys were saying against teams that are not of the same talent, but you just had 2 teams that were the same level, right?
Yeah.
That played, and they were I don't know if the ref said this, but the parents said that they heard it from how the ref was explaining it. Well, we're letting the boys play. Right, that was the term used because you had a 5-star kid against another 5-star kid. We're not calling that pass interference, right? So, how do you guys go about it when you guys have big matchups like that in the state of New Jersey, like even down in the Shore or those Millville and Winslow type of games where you have to still call it to what you see, not to what you want the crowd to appease to?
So a saying that my head referee says is that flags F up games. So if it's common hand fighting, we're gonna let hand fighting go for the most part, as long as both players are making a play on the ball. Doesn't matter if it's a 5-star going against a no star. If it's just common hand fighting, it's when you start seeing that extended arm one way or the other and really creating that separation there. That's when we're gonna really start looking for the OPIs or DPI, defensive or offensive pass interferences. But yeah, I mean, it shouldn't matter what the matchup is. I mean, heck, I'm not seeing 90% of that stuff because I got my back to it. So, but I know my deep wings that they're just trying to call what they see in a fair way. And I'll give you an example. About 10 years ago, state championship game up at Rutgers. Game ended on a Hail Mary play where receiver pushed off and then went up, dove backwards, and made the catch. And the official dropped the flag. We had offensive pass interference, and they brought it back and went back 15, and they couldn't recover from that. And that ended up being an untimed down, but it was 2 studs. One kid went to Penn State. The other kid went – I forget off the top of my head, but he ended up down in Florida. So, I mean, these were 2 dudes that were going at it. And, yeah, it was an extension of the arm. So they're calling it that way.
They call it, yeah. I mean, I get it, you know, but obviously, Al, you know how it go. I want the calls going my way. So if it ain't going their way, who knows? We got. We said the ref makes a mistake, how can they own up to it? For example, Cowboys and the Giants. He called the face mask on the wrong thing. Hey, I know how I get it, but I mean, maybe Mike could, Dan, they could tell me how it goes in they land. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, we definitely have made mistakes, and we had an inadvertent whistle a couple of years back, and we walked right up to the coach and said, "Coach, that one's on us. We screwed that up." And coach, high quality coach, class guy, was pissed off, rightfully so. But he moved on. He's like, all right, let's play football. It's in the past. So yeah, with the Giants play, and again, I'll refer to and Coach Derek can back me up with this one. We just had another one down here that ended in a controversial play, and our state association came out and posted an apology, said, hey, the rule was misinterpreted by the officials, and because of the misinterpretation, it ended up costing a team a win because it was legitimately a last-second field goal that got blocked, scooped, which the kid should have just dropped down onto the ground with it. There was no need to try to scoop and score at that point in time because his team locked up the win. But his whole bench cleared to celebrate.
They all ran off the sideline, bro.
It was a live ball play, and the officials they threw the flag on it, and they called it illegal participation. The state came back and said, well, that's technically not illegal participation. That's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty because the players didn't actively participate in the play, meaning they weren't actually lead blocking on the kid scooping and scoring. Right. So the officials in the heat of the moment misinterpreted it as an illegal participation, offset the penalties because there was another penalty, gave them another try for the kick, and that kick was successful.
And that's how they lost. Yeah, brutal.
We see bad stuff in our area, and I just have an understanding that as a professional who's meant to regulate or police a sport, you can't come back and say we're going to do that again because I screwed it up. There's no going back. So if I made the call, I don't even really argue with refs. Like,
no, it's not worth my time.
You might tell them I'm okay with have the rule book and just be like, look, I understand there was a mistake made. Here's the rule. We're playing by this rule. What rule did you intend to be? You know what I mean? But you can't go out and be condescending, be an asshole. It's just going to cost you the rest of the game. Anyway.
Yeah, it come back and bite you.
I make mistakes in play calling. Okay, the kids make mistakes in reading the play. The refs are going to make mistakes in policing the game. So let's move on. We had a kind of a funny situation this weekend, and you. Sometimes you have to wonder, you talk about, refs give you a call to pay you back for I screwed up. I'm going to give you 5 yards here. But we had a punt that went down the ref way down there. I mean, he's back behind the return man, ends up with the ball between his legs. And he ends up he's trying to run and grabs the ball with his ankles. So now he's inadvertently stopped it. And it actually worked for us at the time because it was about to roll in the end zone for a touchback. And so we, our guys go down and grab it and down at the 5. And we're like, right. Hey, let's go. Randomly, there's a flag drop back behind the punter that made us have to back up 5 yards and kick it again. So sometimes you wonder if there is a late flags. You got to wonder, is this work? Is this team working together? And they should be. But hey, man, I screwed that up. Can you help me out back there?
Yeah, bail me out.
There was a holding on your gunner who just sprinted by a guy. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to wonder. But at the end of the day, man, it's a hard job. There's going to be mistakes. I can't go out. Look, in the moment I'm going to fire it up. Hell yeah. But I got to have that restraint that I try to teach my kids, emotional awareness, emotional intelligence. You can't be attacking these refs on the sideline because they screwed up, because Lord knows I've screwed up in the middle of a game. So they're going to do well, right?
You ain't never lie. You never lie. No doubt. Listen, man. Thank you on getting those type of opinions out here and talking about what's going on. Let me see if I get the producer on. AB, man, chime in. Let's see if we can pull up this video from Lenny Rogers from Keep It a Buck. It's an interesting type of video. I want everybody to check it out, see if they can hear it, because it's a phrase going on about recruiting in New Jersey. Like I said, I'm gonna ask about how it is down in Oklahoma, and whether I guess the question is big time schools are overlooking. I'm not exactly sure, but AB, run the video for me if you don't mind. Let me see if I can take a look at this.
My words, UConn is not dominant. Why isn't UConn recruiting this area, right? Why isn't UConn coming in here and taking, those type of kids, right? I saw a Donald Massey comment on one of our posts, and he was saying, well, maybe they, feel like they're doing good with their kids. You can't be doing good. You can't be doing good because it's bad. It's bad for you, UMass. It's bad for Temple.
Now, like I said, I definitely wanted to check this out. Like I said, as far as these guys recruiting guys, and I know that the schools obviously that was named, yeah, I mean they don't knock out the box as far as wins and losses, but as far as recruiting our area, from doing the research, they have Jersey guys on their team. They just might not have the Jersey guys that some people want them to have, right? You know, I've heard mentions of names like Kamanungai, you know, and like maybe Kamanungai should have got recruited a little better. Somebody should have known, but I mean, luck of the draw, in my opinion. I mean, if your coaches do a good enough job, if the kid does a good enough job, we are in the 2024 era where a highlight tape can be sent from anybody, right? You know, anyone can go to a camp. So you kind of need your head coach, but you can kind of do a lot of work yourself to kind of get yourself in the door. And then because of like, you know, those two things, I don't see the talent being overlooked. My opinion was this though. If you're in point in case, Dan, let's talk about it, you're Oklahoma. Would a coach from Oklahoma come all the way up to Jersey to recruit a 6'1", 220 kid if he's got the same type of 6'1", 220 kid in OK? Like, this is what I know. I know that.
So here's how I've been at high school coaching 5 years. Recruiting is it's the last thing I've cared to really jump into because, guys, like I just told you, I've been at 1A, 2A, 3A schools. We ain't got D1 kid. We don't have D3. We don't have NIAI kids. We got kids that are never going to touch the field again when that last whistle happens on their senior year, right? So getting to go to Owasso last year, big time school, that was great for me because I can see like we do have those kids and these recruits. You know, it is happening. I can only give you anecdotal stories. When Lincoln Riley was at Oklahoma, he was not recruiting Oklahoma. There were no position coaches going out to the schools to go, hey, what have you got? Even like, what's the best kid on your team? Cool, you're a 1A school, you've got 15 kids. Who's the best? That wouldn't happen. So where you're talking about UConn not recruiting the area as well, this is D1 Oklahoma. This is the premier school in the area, right? I mean, Texas doesn't toot their horn right now, but I think we've got them like 13 out of the last 15 years or something. So, you know, it's the number one team in the area.
I like how you say that like you weren't sure about that stat.
You know, you gotta slip it in there.
It could be one or two, you know, either way. I don't know. But so since, you know, Brent Venables has taken over, guys, there's DeMarco Murray, running back coaches, walking into the smallest schools in the state and going, hey, I just want to meet your best kid. Maybe he doesn't have a shot. I don't care. Coach, who do you have realistically I could take? And who's the kids that need to see a recruiter to understand what this process looks like? But, you know, Brent Venables has made it a mandatory that he is going to recruit and take Oklahoma kids. You know, and we're seeing it. There's a lot more Oklahoma talent there. Now we're still getting a lot of our talent from Texas, starting to pull them. You know, we're still taking them from all over the country. So the long answer there, no, he's probably not going to go up to New Jersey and recruit your number one 6'1" is for whatever reason not D1 quality. That stat alone says you were not a D1 athlete.
That facts, please.
Not by my word, but guys, I think they're coming all shapes and sizes. But that's just realistically, you're not going to get recruited. So no, he's not going to waste the gas to come up there. His time, his assistant's time, their resources are all limited, and you just got to get the best bang for your buck. He can go down the street down here and get a 6'1", 220 that he can try to make a preferred walk on and not spend any monies. You know what I mean?
And that's what it's about. It's about them saying, okay, I'm allocated X amount of dollars. So now to get that kid from out of state, that is a plus $30,000 to $40,000. Whereas I get the kid in state, it's $12,000 total to get that kid in here. So, you know, that's my thoughts on it. But look, you know me. I mean, I'm not a guy that ain't going to put my money where my mouth is. So obviously, you got something good, Sheed.
No, I'm just listening right now. I ain't got nothing right now.
Yeah, tune in. You know, the state school, which is Monmouth, right? Monmouth is our Division I AA state school. And when you do the numbers, Monmouth has 61 kids from New Jersey on the team, right? Now, I ain't getting into how many of them are public. I ain't getting into how many are private. But I see a large number from public schools are getting those guys, and that mama's got those guys. I mean, out of 61, 44 of them are from public schools, right? All right, cool. Then you go to UConn, right? So in UConn, we got 7 kids from Jersey in UConn, right? I know I coached one of them. And then as far as the public, the private thing, and I'm going to tell you why I'm bringing that up. It ain't got nothing to do with you right now, I roll. So it's 5 kids out of public school, 2 kids out of private school. All right, well, let's go to Temple. Temple got 22 kids out of Jersey, right? And out of Pennsylvania, they only got 21 kids out of Pennsylvania. So they can't be overlooking because they got more from our state than their state. But hey, I rest my case. You know, it's 11 private school kids and 11 public school kids. And the last one I want to use is UMass. UMass got 8 Jersey kids. 3 of them are public school kids, 5 of them are private school kids. I broke that down with the public and the private for this reason only. Just because they're not recruiting kids that co-hosts and stuff want to see, don't mean they're not recruiting, okay? Guys out here recruiting and they're doing their due diligence and they have to feed their families on this, okay? Can't come back to Oklahoma. You can't go back to UConn, UMass, any of these schools with a kid that ain't going to be able to change the trajectory of your family, all right? I got to bring in a kid that's hopefully a kid. So that way I look like a great talent. I got a good eye for talent. I'm a good scout. And then therefore, whether I'm at UMass now, I might be at UCLA because I can spot talent. But if I just keep bringing in your friends, I don't know how that's going to help me. So, you know, I just wanted to kind of get that one right there. That was one of my, you know, Derek, I'm trying to help out, you know, those that don't know. You know, I'm just here to educate. You feel me?
And Coach Don,
speak on it.
I don't know if you all should know him because he's the only loud, bald-head dude in the room that's always in the room. I don't know if you guys know Coach Dominique Bowman over at Temple, right?
Mm-hmm.
He got this saying, you got to make yourself undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make, like, and this is what this is what we have to start telling kids. If you want to get recruited at 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", for one, you have to be special. 2, you have to make yourself undeniable. It don't matter what coach walks in there. It don't matter if it's Colgate. Colgate has to say, I need that kid.
Mm-hmm.
Or I want that kid. It may not be a UMass or one of these high schools, but a Monmouth, yes, that's fine. But you have to make yourself undeniable that at any level, it don't matter if it's Kutztown, who's ranked also top 10 every year as a D2 program.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It don't matter if it's Sacred Heart. It don't matter if it's Holy Family in PA. Right? Make yourself undeniable so that when they come see you, it's not a, man, I don't even know. So that it's not the conversation that we're having now, whereas, oh, they're under recruiting the state. Nah, some of these kids, they may want a scholarship, but do they really deserve the scholarship?
Mm-hmm.
Have they put the film on for a scholarship?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have the character for a scholarship?
Mm-hmm.
Because the way that these coaches are coming out, like you just saw a kid at UNLV said, I'm not playing no more because my money not right. So if now money is being invested into kids, am I giving you the money for this scholarship and the deals that's coming with it? They getting cars, they getting apartments.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, one of the youngest down in Millville, I don't know if y'all know, he is going to Bama, right? But that Bama came with a package.
Most of them big boys normally shop
Them
like
things
that.
come with packages. Are you worth my package?
Mm-hmm.
So when he says make yourself undeniable, they want to make sure that there's nothing that I have to question when I come recruit you, that once I see you, oh yeah, he can play.
Right.
And then when they go ask about you is, oh yeah, he's the right type of kid to recruit. And I think that that's the message that needs to be pushed across all states for these kids to understand. It's not that you're not being looked at. You just got to make yourself undeniable on film and all crosses that just X's off.
Well, I'm gonna say one thing. I'm gonna see what she got to say on it. The real deal is this, right? Just because you're not getting the scholarship look that you want, don't mean you can't take the scholarship look that you're getting. Like I know some kids that get a look from Bucknell, and they like, I don't know. I think I'm gonna weigh my options. Where? It's just this is it. Now you
that
know
is
something
your
I
option,
don't know.
buddy.
But that's what I'm saying, Derek. Like you get a kid, he's getting a LIU offer, right? And it's like, well, if I got LIU, I know I can get better than that.
Yeah.
Like, dude, take what you got, appreciate it. It's a lot of guys that don't even get that type of look. You know what I mean?
There's 20 other guys that would have already said yes to that while you're thinking about it.
It is a very strange world right now because of social media, because of the way things work. A lot of kids just got to wait on that first big offer because 15 are right behind it.
Yep.
Because coaches can't go recruit everyone. So if, I don't know, South Carolina comes out and offers a kid, every school in the SEC is probably going to have to go offer him because it's like, I at least have to give him the option to come here before I have to play against him on Saturdays. Right. And so, I know kids that I got to know last year that, man, they had a D2. And then a really good D2 and then a really low D1. And now Penn State's on the table. Now Oklahoma's on the table. Yeah. Now Texas A&M climbed in bit. Like, and so you can't be mad at the kid. Like you want to say, take everything. Now my advice is always ask, is it committable and commit right now?
First question.
The very first one, because you can transfer, or one you
especially
can
now
later.
In that world. You're right, Dan. Like that's literally, you have guys going to schools taking scholarships, saying, "I'm only going to be here a year. I'll only be here 2 years." Like they have that plan. It's already in their mind, right? Because maybe something happened in that original big D1 that they had. Maybe the coach left late or something like that, right? Of that nature. So now, hey, that's all good. I'm just going to go here, and then their plan is already 1 year, 2 years. They have that whole process already set. It's already in the works. They already know what they're doing, and transferring is part of it.
Well, not decommitments are a big deal right now. And
absolutely,
we as adults in the room want to kind of hate on those kids. As a fan of OU, I'm hella mad if a player that's committed to OU is going to a Nebraska game to sit on the sideline.
Yeah,
but he's very smart to take a
damn right he is
anywhere because OU can't walk out from under it.
No.
Right? We had Kobe McKenzie's a linebacker for the Sooners right now, and he committed to A&M. Went down there, was recruiting kids in the locker room, and then last minute changed his commitment back to OU, right? So, I mean, there's a game within the game within the game. You want to talk about how we do it as coaches? The kids have the opportunity right now, too. So, being mad at them for changing, we've got to throw that out because we want what's best for them. But we can't tell them, commit to the first school that offers you. And also, I'm super mad that you changed your commitment later on when a better school comes along.
Right.
So, I mean,
trying to talk out of both sides of their mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, do what's best for you. What's best for you is taking the first one that offers that's committable. That's what's best for you to get your school paid for. And then just, play ball with everything that comes down the road.
See what you got on this topic.
Yeah, I mean, the landscape of the recruiting has changed so much. It's hard to kind of pinpoint the right direction. Whereas in years past, it's okay, go to a school that you're going to play, get a good education, right, and enjoy your college experience. Well, now there's so many different variables to that, to where now, like you guys are talking about, a kid can go to a Rhode Island for a year, dominate that level, re-recruit himself, end up at Oregon, and become one of the best left tackles in the country. So it's a lot of different variables in recruiting now that we just have to be careful with painting the narratives, because narratives are ruining these kids and their decision making because they're trying to fit narratives with following different platforms and that sort of thing. And sometimes the information is legit and sometimes it's not. But because people have a voice, that don't mean you have a voice, if that makes any sense.
100%.
So it's just like, platforms like this and coaches like ourselves, and there's other platforms out there that's doing their due diligence with trying to provide the right information for these kids so that they can make the right decisions as long as with their parents. There's a lot of underground, a game within the game, like Coach is talking about, that's going on, where kids are getting recruited from lower level colleges just to go to another college just because they got the bag, knowing they're not going to play, but I can't turn down this bag, this NIL package deal, where I can set my family up for the rest of my life, even though I know I'm just here to be a backup. So it's a lot of that stuff that's going on to where we don't have to talk about the recruiting process. Now we have to talk about now how to manage your money, how to negotiate. That's the direction we're going in now.
I think what's something we haven't talked about. Sorry, Mike, I'm going to cut you off here, but with NIL and with transfers, high school recruiting's at an all-time low. Right? They can go out and take a kid from any of those low-tier schools or a peer school, right? And take who they want. And we've been experiencing that with coaching already. Like, less people are showing up to knock on the door to ask about your kid, because why would you give that scholarship to a guy who's unproven? Look, I'm an Oklahoma fan. Jackson Arnold is the starting quarterback to start the season. He's a 5-star kid. We think he's the answer. He's the truth. It's now week 5, and we've gave him the pine, and we're going to start a 4-star over him. You don't know what you're getting.
Yeah, you don't.
But why would you not take a kid that's at least proven at the next level, right? He's played his 5th or 6th year of football. Go get him. So high school,
and that's actually
weary.
And that's actually where I was going, because didn't Deion Sanders come out and say, I'm only going to recruit like 3 or 4 5-stars, and then I'm just going to hit the transfer portal as hard as I can, because he's that film against that caliber. So that's where he's spending most of his recruitment time, is on that side.
And then you get DJ Uwangale, who's stinking up my Florida State right now, man.
But he was more proven than starting a true freshman, right?
And the guys, yeah. Guy can't go wrong with that.
That's one that's disappointing, because Oregon State gave him a shot and he lit it up there, and then he kind of bailed on them. So it's one of those scenarios. He had his chance at Clemson. It didn't work out there. Went to Oregon State, had a great season up there, and then he left them behind for money on the table again. But that just goes to the recruiting aspect. It's never ending, and with the transfer portal, it's never going to end that way.
Yeah. And then you can also get a Cam Ward, where transferring has put him on a stage where now he's a Heisman candidate.
Yeah, you're right.
And he had 15,000 yards at Washington State. He was lighting up there. But in that market and where he was, no one saw him. You didn't know who he was. But then you hit that portal, you get to Miami. There's money behind Miami. There's a fan base. There's notoriety behind it. And then he's putting up you see what he's doing. Right? So now it helps who it helps based off their talent and their trajectory.
Yeah, you're right.
Loving it. Let's jump on another conversation I got right here. Let's see. Elite Talent. What's my man? He does a lot of the posts on Instagram. He put up a picture up here. Why won't parents ever take responsibility? In sports, no matter what happens, they blame the coach. This is a good one. I felt like I wanted to dive into this because, again, I got a lot of parents that follow the network, and I hear, I get a lot of phone calls about what the coach did, what the coach didn't do. The big thing is a lot of parents don't really know exactly what's going on. You know what the practice is like. You don't know what the scheme is like. You don't even know what your kid's supposed to be doing. Even if he go home and tell you, you're still not a part of that staff to understand what it's about. I feel like the reason why the parents do a lot of the blaming is because of that, the unknown. The one thing that parents can take responsibility for is their off seasons. To tell you, I work with a lot of parents, and I bring parents in to him to train their kids doing wide receiver stuff, DB stuff, like almost every Friday, sometimes Sunday. Like, this is what you have to do. Like, this is the part that I ask a lot of parents when they give me the conversation of why my kid's not whatever the ... is. I go, what do you do? ... Okay, because if you ain't doing the little things like, Dame has a terrific track club and a track program. You don't have your kids running track. Well, don't ask why he's not getting faster. He's not going to get faster from Monday through to Friday at practice. It ain't going to happen. Like, if Monday through Friday, only thing we can hope is that the scheme is in, how to beat the team, and he does his job. That's what we can do. But after that season is over, and you got a good 6 months that you can invest, whether they're doing another sport, like Derek and Al said, they got 7-on-7, 2 solid programs over there between Slime U and UC, Boardwalk Beast. These are good programs that you can probably put your kid around with good solid coaching, and this thing will help. And I know that most of these guys that you have on that you see here, Daniel, you could tell me about how it goes down there in OK. Is if you put yourself with the right person, you'll see your kid going. And you won't have to wait long. You'll see it. He'll come back asking, I got to go back to practice. I got to go to training. He'll push the envelope. But if you don't hear him saying stuff like that, well, maybe the person he's with probably is not, getting him in that mental mind state where he wants to, I guess, like I like to say, he wants to eat more of what he's got to offer. Anybody want to jump on? Hey, Dame, I ain't heard from you in a while. Jump on this one right here for me. Open it up for me.
Well,
there he is. Hey, Mike, you wanted him? That's the beast. Now I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. She's gonna go get his beast, and the kid's gonna take over my show. This happens every 2 weeks.
He into his cars right now, so he really not paying attention, man. But I had a conversation with a parent today. Just she was like, I would love for my son to run track, but he doesn't want to do it. Well, he want to play this sport. He not fast enough to play this sport at a higher level. So a lot of people say that track speed can't be taught or it's genetic and all of that stuff. It can't be taught, but it could be developed. When it comes to teaching proper foot placement or proper running mechanics, like you watch how some of these kids run, and they just all over the place, man. It's a difference between football speed and track speed. That track speed hit different when you get out in that open field.
I know it.
And it's unfortunate. Everybody really don't buy into it. They don't believe in it. But and until it's too late, and then it's like, oh well, I need you to train my son. I need you to get him fast now. Well, where was you at 9th grade year, 10th grade year? When I first brought it to your attention. So they want you to work miracles, and then it don't work the way they wanted to work. And it's just like I'll give you a perfect example, right? Miles Snead. Remember we had Miles Snead doing form and stuff like that. Like 8 and 9 years old. Because his older brother was there, right?
Yeah. Rob Snead, yeah.
And then he turned out being faster than Rob. You get what I'm saying? So it's proof in the pudding, but it's like, beating a dead horse trying to get them to understand the process. Like everybody want the right now results and not the longevity of it. So that's just my take on it. They just gotta, again, we say it all the time, trust the process, but the process exactly what is what needs to be understood.
Can't have no success.
Can I jump in on this really quick?
Go ahead, jump in, please.
So I'm continuing to I'm staring at this quote up here, and we were talking about it earlier. The reason why we all love football is because it teaches us about life. Well, let's take the word coach out of there. Let's take the word sport out of there. I'm an educator. Why are they always blaming the teachers? Why are they always blaming that? When are they going to look in the mirror at times? Like there's just some people that gotta take the fingers and point it at themselves. Take those 2 thumbs and say, "Hey, what did I do?" Like you were saying, DM. What have I done? And maybe it's on me and not on them or that person over there. So it's a life thing, unfortunately, that we're seeing it in all walks of society.
I think, I'll be honest. I think it's even deeper than that. I think there's a saying that like parents want the best 10 kids on the field plus their son, right? They want what's best they want their kid to be playing. They want their kid to be participating, but they don't know what goes into it, right? They also they think that every head coach the school hires is the best head coach in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If they bring you in to coach it, they think that you should be able to perform miracles with what you're given. But they don't understand that, like, some coaches are speed developers. Some coaches can really teach the O-line. Some of them have the pass game figured out. Some are defensive minded, right? And they just don't understand. It's just like if they just go and look at people in their own office or whatever they do every day, right? Everyone has their own talents, and we're as coaches are the same way. But they don't. The school's not going to let you go out and pick the best coach at the running game if you're a pass guy. They're not going to let you go pick the best DC. You're going to get whoever kind of around you and they can afford, right?
And who wants to be there?
Yeah, that's
the other part.
That's the other part.
Coaches and their time, a lot of coaches have families, so it's saying, like, Mike, like you said, you got your son now. We see Dame's child. Like I said, I know. Shout out Derek. You got the little one now. You got these people are taking time away from their families. Al, you too. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you have your own, and then you're getting ridiculed for someone that's mad at you for not doing what you're doing for your own, is like, man, we got to, like you said, look in the mirror sometimes. That's what you got to do. Because the first teacher is the parents.
I think they're caught up on the fact that, hey, I send him to football practice for 2.5 hours a day. You're supposed to teach him everything about football. They don't understand. I don't think they just simply don't. They're ignorant to the fact that there are places out there to send their child to get better at insert thing here, right? If you need a faster kid, send them to a speed trainer. Look, I'm an offensive coordinator. Right? Yeah, I sell athletic speed and movement, right? I sell speed. I can help develop your kid with my program. That's something you get from me as a coach, but their schools around here won't hire me right now. So that school's not getting that speed training. You know what I mean? So they don't understand what resources are actually at the school or not. They think I send him for 2.5 hours to football practice. He should be the next D1 athlete with speed, size, everything.
And then the other part is this, and I know my trainer guy is going to really dig into this. I'm a trainer, right? When I'm not here. When I'm here, I'm the coach. So I'm teaching scheme this week. I'm not teaching you as the D-line coach. We're not getting into certain things that I would like to get into, hand fighting, getting extensive sheets, you know what I'm talking about, with your receiver stuff. We might not get into a lot of this intricate stuff this week. Because why? Because I'm working on whatever the scheme is to beat the team for Friday night. So don't ask me to teach you about how to get off. Should have known how to get off. Like, certain things is going to be like, listen, if you was listening while I was coaching, then you got it. If you want more of that, then when I have these post up and say, hey, training's going to be here, D-line training's here, wide receiver training's here, DB's training's here, you got to tune in. That's how you get better. Like you said, the 2 hours, I can't get you better in 2 hours. Like that's not going to be it. I can get you better, though, in the off season because we have time to build.
But guess what? Like in the off season, coach, they're not bringing their kid up there in the off season. This is not football season. What do you mean you want him practicing football? Football season starts in August. Not even in the summer. I can't get kids to come show up and lift weights in the summer.
Now, how do you all feel about the parents that wait too long to get their kid into the sport, but still want that kid to maybe get a scholarship or do something well?
I gotta have realistic conversations.
Yeah, but they don't even want to hear that. Some dads are living through their son that got 2 left feet.
It's on them.
I can only tell you the truth. Now, if you don't want to buy the truth, you got to go buy the lie from someone else. And especially with my brand and with my name, what I try to stand on. So every time I get to that child or that kid, whatever, that parent, and they give me well, coach, can he become, that next guy? Like, like free throws, and he scored his first touchdown this week. But
free throws.
It's a kid that, was late to taking football serious. Good height, you know what I'm saying, and everything, big hands the whole nine. Yeah. But you're late. So what I said to moms was, listen, being that he's late to the party, then we got to put him on a different type of program. Don't look for Division I. Just let's look for an opportunity. Whatever that opportunity is, hopefully we let them understand that he's still a work in progress. He shouldn't be looking to play right now. He should be looking to fit in to your program, to learn how to be a better receiver at whatever it is. So this way he understands how to, he can benefit. If parents buy that, then their child ends up in a great spot. But if you go, screw you, Coach Don, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm sending him somewhere else. Well, you know what ends up happening? The kid ends up losing. And it always ends like that. We're working. We 30, 40, 50 years old. We older. So the show's over for that. All of that trying to get it done. For the young man, he's 17, 18. He's a senior. That time where he has to become a man. So if their parent don't buy in, then usually what ends up happening is he the one that gets kind of like slighted out of that deal. But, I can't say nothing much about that.
Yeah, well, I think part of the problem is too, Donald, to jump in here is that, we're willing, because we do care on the level that we care, and you know how I work and how we do things, you know what I mean, is we're willing to have those really tough conversations, and we're willing to tell them the truth, and it might not be what they want to hear, but with the way the world is now, there is 10 other people that are willing to lie to him to get $1 to help him train with them. Those guys will lie to him to have him play on their 7-on-7 team. Those guys will sell him a dream. And then at the end, when it don't work out and mom's is kind of like, what's going on? They'll run and there'll be nowhere to be found. Right. And then it ultimately has to, where's he going to run to? He comes back to, one of us. Right. And now we got to kind of, hey, because we are who we are, we're going to try and help him and pick up those pieces, right? So I just think there's a lot of, fake, guys out there that say it's all about the kids when it's really not all about the kid. A lot of them have their own personal agenda and whatnot. And it kind of gives some of us that kind of stand on what we do. Yeah, man. And look, like you said, like Coach Chambers said, like you can't get guys there, on their own and let them on, and they sure as hell ain't going to pay, right? So, I don't think when people put numbers to this thing, like, don't ever do that, right? Because that's not why we do this, right? Because we sure as hell ain't making money. And like you said, taking time away from our own families to ultimately coach other kids' families. Sometimes we spend more time with our assistant coaches and these other kids, and then ultimately our family is sacrificing, right? So, and then here we are on the front line taking all the bullets, and at the end of the day, we're still the ones there, putting in the work for the kid, full go. But I think that's a real issue, and I don't know really how you fix it because I'm sure it's always been around, and so many just, exploded more with social media. The fact that just everybody has more access to these kids. I mean, like you were saying before, to get recruited, you don't even have to use your head coach anymore. That could be the last guy that finds out you committed to a school, and for the coaches, they don't have the college coaches. They don't have the time to sit there and go through a coach that, that process anymore. They got to get they got to get the guy in the building, figure it all out. And if I can cut out that middleman, right? Even though, hey, that middleman, the head coach, is probably your best asset to finding out what this kid really is. These guys are willing to just kind of skip over that process, DM with dad or some street agent, some guy that's told him these goods, Pee-wee, and now here we go. It's a way bigger issue than we're talking about, and we sure as hell ain't going to be able to fix it overnight like that. We just continue to do what we do and just do what we do with our kids and help them out the best we can.
I'm gonna kind of help the parents out a little bit on that post up there. I think it has to be a level of transparency from the coaches where you feel like you're not explaining yourself.
Absolutely.
Now, because sometimes like I don't gotta explain myself. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But one thing I learned from coaching at a junior college, when I was coaching receivers, I would have
shout out ASA.
Yeah, man, I would have 15, 16 receivers, and 9 of them were good. So now I have to figure out a way to tell those 9, look, you're not playing because of this, you're not playing because of this. So what I do with parents is I create a file for your kid. So defensively, we get homework every week throughout the season. I collect the homework. I have a file. I also go through every clip of your kid, good or bad. So now if there's an issue, and we get those issues, now let's sit down and meet and talk about it. Like I like talking to parents. Because
Yeah.
like you're talking about, we're gonna put that mirror right in front of your face. Because when I meet with parents, I meet with the kid too. So now the kid got to figure out who he gonna lie to.
Right.
That boy.
There we
Yep.
go.
And most of the
100%.
time, I tell my kids, and my parents know this too. They call me the Grim Reaper. I'm gonna have everything in front of you, and I'm gonna say, well, your son has 200 and something clips. Do you think that's enough clips to evaluate his talent? Yes. Okay. Here's his percentages of what we graded him on: communication, alignment, making plays, missed tackles. He graded 30% out of the other two guys he's competing with. Who would you play?
Ethics.
So
Would you
break it
put
down.
your salary on your son's kid? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I put the mirror right. So sometimes the parents will sit in the meeting like, yo, dude, you ain't even telling me this is happening.
Yep.
You got me
Yeah.
sitting here
No,
with-
that's it.
You know, so that's with me. I love talking to parents because I'm just gonna hold the mirror in front of your face.
Right.
Because yes, I'm teaching your kid how to tackle and all that, but I'm also teaching them the real life stuff. So for you
Accountability.
so you need to tell your son to communicate with you at home, because if he can't communicate on the field, he ain't communicating. I can't play him anyway, especially on defense. So there has to be a level of transparency, and it's a lot of work because now you got to go back to all the practice tapes and get the cut ups. It's a lot of work, but I'd rather do that than for you to come telling me my son should play or I got something against your son and all that. I'll just put the extra work in, and here you go.
The iron
Tape
shot
don't
is
lie.
done. Yeah.
It don't. And if I have your file, I have your homework. Here's his homework. So he don't even know what he's doing. So why would I play him? When I hold my meetings, I'm not telling the defense what to do. They're telling me, hey, how are we lining up to this? Hey, we got strong right. What's the coverage? All right, we got cloud. If your son is not answering those questions, that means he's not ready to play. So, hey, Tommy, when I'm doing this in a meeting, are you answering questions? No. Because who you gonna lie to? I'm not playing. He said we all gonna sit in a meeting together, and it's the same way with training. I'm like, I don't have time for that, because like all of us are saying, we spend so much time away from our own families to do this. You're not gonna come at me crazy when your son is not doing something he ain't supposed to do. So maybe it's not a me issue; it's a home issue. So I'm like that when it comes to the parents. So they know before you want to sit down and have a meeting with me, you better make sure you straight and narrow, because you know I have what I have. It's coming, and I'm ready for it. So
And that spreads though, right? Though, because then parents talk to parents like, yo, like this is the deal, and then it just cuts the head off the snake from the jump. So now you ain't got to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like they know this is it. Here it is. Bam.
They already know how Coach C is. Hey, chill out.
Yeah.
They already know.
Yep.
Like,
You're like, don't be chirping because it's coming.
That's what that is. Set the standard, live by the standard.
That's
I
it.
know we're probably going to move on topics here pretty quick, but I do want to. I'm also a big believer in extreme ownership, and as coaches, we also can't always just point the finger at the parents, right? Like,
hell no.
If you're not spending your offseason getting better at scheme, getting better at communication, getting better at developing players, getting your kids recruited. Look, guys, I picked up in the last 5 years, I picked up Photoshop. I started making graphics to make my teams look better, right? I want on Friday night, social media attention makes us look good. I wrote newspapers for my team one year because the people that were writing the newspaper articles at the newspaper, we were always the villain, always the bad guy. So I increased my skills to make sure my team looked good. I think if you aren't living by extreme ownership and taking all that stuff personal, make it your job, right? Are your kids slow because you don't know how to train speed? Are your kids missing tackles because you don't know how to coach tackling? Maybe you got a head coaching job too early. Maybe I was made DC day 3 of my coaching career, of my in high school coaching career. Okay, day 3, the guy was like, "Listen, the guy I hired to be DC is not going to do it. I'm going to make you the DC." I had no idea what I was doing, but I called plays for a year, and that spring, I jumped onto JoeDanielFootball.com and bought an annual thing, and I went in and learned defense, and I learned how to coach. I played 4 years in high school, but I didn't know how to coach it.
Right.
So you have to go back to extreme ownership. Are you doing your best every single day in the off season? The same crap you expect of your kids. are you putting that time and effort in so that you get better at dealing with kids? Because we know they're not as committed as us.
Right.
So what are you doing to be the best coach possible for that kid too? So that, I mean, I want to make sure we got that in there.
That's all just holding up that mirror, and that mirror is a hard thing to face for any angle. That's the issue.
It's that two-sided mirror, bro.
I'm gonna drop one more question on us, then I'm gonna let everybody have the closing remarks. The last one I want to post up, Brandon. Let's see about this. I posted something on Facebook. Got a lot of buzz about it too. The question was, could someone explain to me why Little League football teams close rosters? Okay. My point I put after that, if the parents have to pay anyway, why can't the kids play? Now, the reaction I got from this was people was talking about dominant kids going from one team to another team, right? And I said, well, we got a rule that kind of help you with that in New Jersey as far as our high school rules, that if you transfer during the season, you can't play in the playoffs. So, like, maybe rules like that will help, with the situation, I guess, that they have. The other real reason why I did post this, because I was thinking more from a life standpoint. So I coach in the urban community, and I know that in the urban community, you want to get these kids as active as you can, right? You don't want them wandering. You don't want them trying to find other things to do, if we all kind of know what I'm saying. So it's like, and when you have a Little League football program in the urban community, I don't think closing rosters should be something you should ever do. I mean, on the high school side, I got kids, they come on late, they like, Coach, I want to be a part of the team. I throw you on a JV level and have fun with it, because I can't definitely put you nowhere else. But I just don't understand, like I said, I didn't understand why they closed the rosters, maybe anybody else. I thought I was gonna have one of my guys from Little League, jump on to help me out with this. But
go ahead, Mike.
So yeah, I know down here with my son's league, we've had a problem going on with the scheduling aspect, because Town X is saying that they have a team for the 12U program, and then a week before the season starts, it comes back, oh, we don't have enough players, and they fold, and now they have to redo the entire schedule, and it now puts. We got moved from a home game 2 years ago on the Thursday. We were supposed to play on Saturday. We got moved from a home game on Saturday to an away game an hour away, up in an hour north over Labor Day weekend. And it was just like, it rearranged families. And I mean, that's just a small sample size of it. But that I agree with everything that you said. I agree with, like, we want the kids playing the games. We want the kids doing other activities that are going to keep them off the streets, doing other different things like that. But sometimes we got to draw a line and say, okay, well, we don't have a team. What are we going to do? If you have a team, bring on the kids, let them play. Like, if your town has one, if not, let them go find a town to go play in. And I know we have waiver systems, so sign a waiver and have them go.
Yep. That's a thing.
So different things like that. Like, but I know that some towns do have a problem with having a number of people. So I know the scheduling issue is one of them.
Okay.
I can definitely see, like, as a coach, I would want the roster locked at some point. I don't know about not taking on new kids, but I need to know who I'm game planning with. I'm installing a system, right? I consult with some teams. So I consult with one youth team that's running Kenny Simpson's Gun T stuff.
Oh,
and there's a lot. There's RPOs, there's formations, there's a run option reads. Like, there's a ton of stuff going on.
Okay.
I can't have him just transfer out to another team, and now I've not brought up a second quarterback.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that would be chaotic if my guy could just leave. I get if your coach is terrible, you'd want to be able to leave the team. But if not, like, it's developmental, man. You're not winning a Super Bowl in youth.
Yeah, but I think that's a huge issue.
That's my
man. Like, that is a huge issue. Some of these guys, literally, that's all they care about is winning, and it affects everything from substitutions to who they want on their team, and how can I do to the systems they're running, to the coaches they're bringing in. I mean, ultimately, it's about development. It's about getting kids better. It's about having these kids fall in love with a game that can help them better themselves on and off the field. And at the end of the day, it's supposed to be fun. You know what I mean? It's like some of these guys, it's like it doesn't have to be militant. I mean, it goes back to this, right? A lot of guys coach the way they were coached, right? And like we were talking about, like if they're not willing to learn new things and adapt to different systems and things like that, well, then we'll still have guys that line up and do freaking old school Penn State drill and smash into each other like
bull in the ring.
Bull in the, you know, we all were part of it, right? And I'm sure, and some of us, we still want to do it, but we can't do that anymore. There won't be a sport left if we do that.
All right, so watch this one, right? With the rosters closing in youth football, a kid play against a team that, let's say he lose to this team. That team goes and recruit that kid. Then
he goes and plays with them.
That team leaves your team and now go play with that team. That's happening. So the portal is hitting everything.
The portal is really the youth.
They got the transfer portal for somebody that's only going to win a league.
And NIL.
It's
like facts, we got eighth graders running camps with their name on T-shirts.
Right? Parents will pay or won't pay the registration fee, right? Kid to get into a scrimmage and they like, I don't know if I want to pay the registration fee. Then they won't pay the registration fee. Take the kid off a team, get your equipment back, take the kid to another team, put the kid on the team because the rosters don't close. So they close the rosters.
There needs to be some uniformity within the leagues, right? Like, and they gotta like police it, and that's what we talk about sometimes with 7-on-7. There is no overarching, ruler of anything, man. So, you got a team that goes to a tournament, gets thrown out because a dude throws a haymaker. That's just like the way they play. And what are the ramifications? They get thrown out of that tournament, and then next week you see them at the next one. Like, there ain't nothing going on. There's no overarching body of it. And I don't really know how the youth works. I know AYF has their rules, and then some of these other individual leagues have their rules. But, those all-star teams that travel and do all that other kind of stuff, it's the Wild West, and at some point – I really think like the only way to get it done would be to have an overarching type of, like the NJSIAA. You say what you want about them, but at least there's freaking rules that everybody's got to go by, whether we like them or not. They're there for a reason, and I feel like that's what you kind of have to do. Otherwise, it's just all over the place. Everybody's going to do their own thing to gain the advantage, and that's just kind of how it'll be.
I want to add this. Did you all see the game between Deptford and Woodbury, and it was 200,000 people out there? No, it was 10,000 people, and the police had to shut it down. Right?
A youth game or a high school game?
This is a youth game in South Jersey at Deptford Midget Field. 10,000 people.
Holy.
And we're all parked on the street. And now down here, they want to invest in the kids because they got kids that are going up. You have Coach Marcus from Roman Catholic here. You have the Emotep coach here. You have the DeMatha coach from Maryland is at this game, right? That's how much they want kids to be traveling and going to spaces. With the cap on youth teams, I think it's because of the talent level that they're trying to attract a certain type of kid per team. That if you don't meet this type of team, hey son, I think you should go play for X, Y, and Z. Right? If you can't play on the Brick City A team, and that's why a lot of teams have A, B, C, right? They have different groups because you have to try to make it to where kids get an opportunity to just learn the game at that level. You have those groups that are competitive, even with 7-on-7. My A team won't be the same as the B or C team, right? Yes, these kids are still playing, but we have to cap what levels that we have. And I think that the one thing that is also a thing now too, we have people that are investing in these teams because they may not have everything that they need. Like Isaac Redmond is the head coach for the Deptford Spartans, former NFL guy.
Yeah, Bowie State alumni.
Right. You got what's his name? The Pouncey twins. They got the team down in Florida. You have I believe Cam still has he has the Pop
Oh,
Warner team now.
Cam has his teams. We know that.
No, not the but he has the Pop Warner teams now too, right? So when you have guys that have the money as well,
He got a lot of time on his hands.
he has a lot of time, but he also has a lot of money to be able to say equipment is not an issue, pads are not an issue, right? The money's not an issue, but then when you have these smaller based programs like a Stanley Park, like the North Cardinals that used to exist, right? You can't have the funding, so there needs to be a cap because it's not as big as a program. So if I only have 40 pads, 40 helmets, I can only take 40 kids. So, Mom, I am sorry that your son can't come. But if I'm a NFL former guy that, you know what, I'm taking all of them. What you call it? Got 75 kids on his senior team. But he can keep 75 because he can afford 75.
Yeah, but what's he gonna do with 75? He can only play so many, and then before you know it, now parents are like, I don't want to go there because he never plays. How do you do that?
No,
Then you got to deal with roster and substitution, and my kid don't get the ball and all this other kind of nonsense. Like, so you do what you want. You want to keep 75? Keep 75. You'll have your 75 issues.
But these kids are not the same kids. They want to be on a team just because the team is good and they winning, and they just want to
until they don't get the ball.
You got 20 of them that don't even care about the ball. They just want to be there for their friends.
And that's cool. They can bring the water out. That's awesome. Like they can stand there and they can run around them. And I don't have to. I can save money on drones.
These kids are different. They will tell mom, "Hey, mom, I just want to be on a team just because."
Well, then that's fine. Like you said, then I don't have to play them. I have a lot of managers. At least our uniforms will be nice and clean, and our helmets will be shiny. Everyone's equipment will be nice and perfect. Like everybody can get their own water bottle and their own treatment.
Them kids not even going to tell their parents what their schedule look like.
Nah, man, come on now. You know they don't got a clue. They just roll it up to the game with whoever their buddy is, man.
Hey, absolutely.
All they want to do is be in that picture, and they want to be able to post it, and then they're good. So they can walk around the hallways and they fight. Like
the era we're in now, that a picture means
those
more than no win or
pictures
loss.
Pregame, bro, are real.
Crazy, bro. But I'm gonna say this. I thought this when I went over that topic. My thoughts was maybe the teams that are in New Jersey, right? Their rules should mimic the high school rules.
As close as you can get it, dude.
As far as like jumping ships, transferring stuff like that, playing for this team,
all that stuff.
You know, make them sit.
It would make them sit.
Hell yeah!
Wait, you gonna make a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old sit?
Whole Al. That's what I'm saying. I like it like that because it just teaches and prepares them.
Volume slider.
I don't know who's got the background. We got to kill that. So what I'm saying is, it teaches a parent early what to expect when they get to the high school level.
Yes.
Dan, I heard you said that in OK, you got to sit a year. I'm actually pro sitting a year.
Hell yeah.
Reason why I'm pro sitting a year, because it just be too much movement, and a lot of the movement be on either kids running the house, not understanding what the rules are, and parents just leaving on I don't like this type of energy. But if you know your kid got to sit for a year, you'll think a little bit about making a move. Like, wait a minute. If he transfers, got to sit
in the first place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, So it's just one of those things where if, like you said, Al, damn, we're going to make a 10-year-old sit. The 10-year-old can't be going to 16 different teams. Because what's going to happen is...
What's that teaching him, though? You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
Like, I'm going to go to a job. I don't like it later. Okay, let me go to the next one. All right, goodbye. Like, see ya. Like, you know, like... It doesn't teach, it doesn't mimic life in any way, shape, or form that you can just bounce, it'll be okay.
Right. All right, I'm gonna jump on. I got one more topic. Let's see if Brandon can give it to me. It's about coaching right here. Check this one out. You're hired as a head coach for a program which won 2 games in 5 years. This actually was my program for a while. How do you go about turning the program around? My head coach, Darnell Grant at West Orange High School, when we got to West Orange had won, I think, 3 games the year before. I'm not sure what they won prior to. It wasn't no more than that. Dane could also chime in on this with North Eastside. When he first got to North Eastside, damn, I think they were kind of like 1-2 wins a season type of thing. I can talk about how being a part of the change at West Orange, how did that happen? First of all, I think the cachet of the coach that I work for, which is Darnell Grant, he was a state champion. He had sent kids to Division I school programs. You know, these are things that people be worried about, or they rank you as, right? So, and because he had a lot of wins. So, because of that type of cachet, it allowed a lot of parents, a lot of kids to kind of hone in and listen to what the program that we wanted to sell to them. We also got in there, and obviously we started with the strength and conditioning program. He kind of like just let me go at it, let me put the guys into some stuff that they had never experienced, like guys cramping in the middle of stretching and stuff, you know. But what it did was it taught them that this ain't what you're used to, but if you trust the process, you'll see the success. And we just kept preaching it. We kept preaching it. We kept working, and we added more days than what they were accustomed to working. The practice was more, like I said, more structured than what they was used to. And that's pretty much, you know, just stacking the good days got us where we were. Dane, if you want, I'm going to let you get the floor on this. Dan, I think you can jump on this one as well. And like I said, and anybody else that want to come behind it. So go ahead, Dane, what you got on this one?
Well, as everybody know, North Eastside, 5-82 in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Not really a football environment, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
In the work that's being done, you know, we dropped our last 3. We currently 2-3, playing in the tougher division. But I'm also trying to remind my kids that the last 3 teams we played were also state championship teams in the last 3 years. So you got to look at the level of where we are. We wasn't even expected to win 2 games this year. They had us going, you know, 0-10. But you know, I try to keep a positive outlook on what I'm doing. I try to do it my way, which is the biggest thing, because you know, it's I remember when even in the offseason putting stuff on the board, they were, oh, that's too much stuff. Why you got so much stuff on the board that kids can't do that? Yo, if you write down what your actual workout look like, it'll be a whole list of everything that you're doing. Like, already was telling me what I can't do, what not to do. Don't do this, don't do that. I said, you know what? I just had to block a couple things out, and try to get, you know, just keep the mindset of just building a winning culture, man. And once the culture come, and then the wins will come. You know, wins is not judged by wins and losses on the game. You know, we want to win. You want to be in that category, but a win or a loss to me is a kid still doing the same thing and making the same mistakes that they made in the first game. If I get a kid that can't kick step and don't know the difference between a speed rush and a bull rush, you know, when a guy attacking them on the outside, then, you know, I'm doing a bad job as a coach. So my kids are learning really well. I'm only graduating 7 again this year. I got a lot of kids coming back. So you just got to look at the numbers. And then that's another thing too. When I got there, there's only 16 kids playing football.
Ooh.
So I was playing. I had to play West Orange first game of the season with 21 kids. Had to go into a Montclair game, 21 kids on the sideline. Like, if I showed you the pictures of what those sidelines look like compared to what they look like right now, you'll be like, yo, that's ridiculous. Like 16, I'm talking about turn to the sideline, there's 4 kids on the sideline, and I'm looking at this one kid like I'm not putting him in the game. I got it, yo, you gotta stay. Ain't no breather. But I'm you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that's where I was at, man. So It's tough. It's tough. You just gotta believe in yourself as a coach, believe in your system. As Coach stated, it's a lot of things that you can learn to do to implement. If you're not learning and growing with the game, then you failing these kids as a coach, man.
Amen.
Dan, what you got on this topic right here?
Man, it's unfortunately I've been in this situation. I didn't take over as the head coach. Okay, I'm still awaiting my first head coaching job. I'm just traveling and gaining information so I can be the best of the best when I show up. But 2 years ago, I did join the staff, a guy that was a first-year head coach, and the team had won 4 games in 5 years. So it's very similar to what you got here. We went 5-5. The very first question I'm asking, number one, is what is the school really looking for? So it's not about what you can do to turn the program around. It's, are they going to allow you? And I'll kind of extend on that, because that whole staff, we put together a really good staff. Randomly, man, it was just by happen chance in the middle of nowhere in the poorest county in Oklahoma. There was no money. The parents didn't care. Everyone was on drugs, alcohol. The kids, it don't matter. Terrible situation. And we managed to get some kind of a culture started in a single year.
Damn.
They asked at my school, at that school, they asked the head coach when I think we were 1-1. We'd won the first game, I can't remember which exactly, but they said, okay, well, you've already hit, I think they were 0-30 in 3 years or something like that. So basically said, you've already got the turnaround started. So what school are you going to coach at next year? And he said, what are you talking about? I plan to be right here. And they said, you won't be here.
Yes.
Why not? And these are teachers in the hallway. And they said, you just don't understand yet. If any football coach comes here and is successful, they go elsewhere. And it's not by choice. It's because they get ran off. And I'm wanting to ask, why is that program so bad? Is it actually talent? Is it actually the lack of coaching? I mean, there are bad coaches everywhere. I live by that. I learned that in about year 2. There are terrible head coaches out there right now running programs, and good coaches can't get jobs. Or is the administration doesn't want basketball to be outshined or baseball to be outshined? You can't have those kids worried about trying to put on pads and getting hurt in the fall because they gotta hoop it up in the spring.
I've been there.
What exactly is the reason? Beyond that, man, I think it is just culture over everything. You've got to. I do the podcast with Joe Daniel, and he hates the term, if you're not coaching it, you're allowing it. But I love it. And he hates it because he's been at it long enough that it's been used against him as a weapon. And I'm young enough that I just like what it means, right? Like, the little details matter. Kirby Smart just the other day had a little video about tucking in your damn t-shirt, because tucking your damn t-shirt, right? Every little detail matters. And I think that's where you got to start your culture. So culture's first. You're going to have really, really good kids on your team that are absolutely terrible humans. And you got to decide, is it worth my culture to have him here? While you're also worried about, and here's coaching, right? We talked about earlier, all the things that parents don't know. That kid need you more than you need him. You do get rid of him. Where does he go next? And is it the drugs and alcohol? Is it the bad crowd?
Right.
Can I at least keep him close and teach him how to be a successful human at some point? So I think that's where it starts, man. Evaluating culture first. We all know the weight room is no longer a thing you might have for an advantage. It's, if you don't have it, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And then, I think we lean back on who are you as a coach? Does your system allow you to make those kids successful? And by those kids, I mean whatever shows up that fall. Okay, you're an air raid certified. Great. Can you run air raid with these kids? Hey, you're a flex bone guy because that's what you grew up in. Do you have the kids to run the flex bone? Do you have the coaches that can teach it? So I think the program you can't pick your talent anyway. So get the culture right. Get what you have better. Weight room, speed and agility training. And then make sure that you and your coaches have the understanding to teach whatever it is you're going to use and that system fits those kids. And I think that's where you can start to turn around.
I'm talking about. Anybody else want to jump on that right there?
Yeah, I think that's good points about both Dave and Coach there. It's like the wins is going to happen. So it really depends on what your purpose is. We talked about this a lot of times on this podcast, is just having a purpose. So for me, it's like Coach was talking about is the administration going to allow you to do what you need to do? That's the first and foremost thing for me. Going in, I actually turned down a job because of that. Because I don't really care about the wins and the losses. That's just me personally. It's the development of these men, right? Because when I'm old and gray and all that, yes, my boys are going to take care of me, but they're going to need to take care of us. So it's really development. And Coach Dom, this. My style is a real aggressive. So
his style is impeccable. His defense is ferocious.
It's a real hard approach. So if the administration is not going to be, behind me on doing those things and instilling discipline and accountability and things of that nature from not only the parents, the kids, the teachers, all right, then I don't know. I can't help you, because if you have those basic fundamentals, the wins are going to come anyway. The wins are going to naturally come. Like Coach said, tuck in your shirt. I'm going to be able to rely on you to do the small details right in the game, which is going to lead to wins. So for me, the biggest thing that if my time comes again is the administration has to be behind me, and then we go from there. The rest, we'll take care of.
Absolutely.
Listen, I'm sitting in here with a chat room with a bunch of coaches, and me being a former coach myself, I think that I've won a lot. And even though my record might not say I've got 100 wins to 5 losses, first of all, I've never been a head coach, so I got nothing on that. But I still have people that come back to me now today that I've coached 20 some odd years ago, and they say, "Hey, coach, how are you?" And they still refer to me as coach. So in that aspect, I feel like I did win something. That kid's still kid now. I'm saying kid, he's 40 years old. I'm 50. I was 10 years older than him. He still respected me, and maybe I did teach him something that, okay, we didn't maybe win as many games as we wanted to, but this kid is now doing the right things in their life. So I'm looking at it on a broader scope.
Hey, all them trophies are is dust collectors anyway. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. More to clean.
You get what, 3 months of like, look at us, and then it's off season and 7-on-7 starts, and it don't matter anyway. So
indeed,
right? And then and the trophies will come or they won't. Who gives a shit? One coach in the state at each level is going to get a trophy this year. That don't mean there's one good coach in the state of Oklahoma.
Yep,
correct. No, I totally agree. Like you said, the culture is the one. I do agree with you. And she said also with administration, boy. I've been there. Remember that, Dane? Boy, that football program makes more sales than that girls' basketball program. Boy, it's going to be some shit moving around here. So, it's definitely like that. And then also with administration is, I do got you guys as teachers too. So I need that lesson plan and coach. I know you got a game this week, but I need that. And if I don't get that, then you ain't got to worry about the game. You might not make that game. And then you get some administrators that go, "Hey, coach, got a big game this week.
Don't worry about it.
I take care of that." You know what I mean? You get some administrators that go, "Hey, coach, hey, listen. You said, what do you need to get those kids stronger? Because I'll go invest and get that." So there's different spots. Like you said, that part definitely helps, you push the program. I could definitely say that, Derek, what we got at West Orange, man. It's been what you need. Don't.
It's not the norm, that's for sure, right?
No, it's not the norm, man. But it's a beautiful spot, and they have been open to what you need. It helps.
How can I help you get to where we both want to be? Right. Not one-sided, not I have an agenda. It's how can we work together to make this place that it could be and should be and is pretty much on its way to being, right?
Man, it's definitely that. So, that's definitely the thing. But if you get that, like I said, because some people do get
that's the rarity.
It's a rarity. But you have to have the culture ready to go. You have to go in there and ready to punch the clock, and don't worry about the hours, because if that program isn't successful, you have to show them what the successful looks like. you know, and it's not going to be with the dusty trophies again. That stuff helps with your cachet, you know. I got 10 state championships. Yeah, that's cool. We don't do what they do, so how can you get me? You know what I mean, to do what those guys do, but how I can be successful at it, right? So that's definitely one of the things. Oh no, yeah, not like Will Hathaway said, coaches, parents, and administration, and the kids got to work together in the community to make it better. I mean, look, that you get that, then you got something special. I can attest to it, but I can also attest from being in other places that you don't always get that. Like you heard, goes Derek said, that's a rarity. You know what I mean? What we got. I mean, right now it's a beautiful thing. When the superintendent's son is playing football in the town, I think you can bet your bottom dollar football's gonna be good in the town. You know what I mean? So,
and also when you have a superintendent who's not only, you know, invested in that aspect of it, but is a good man himself and has worked his way up to being where he's at. He wasn't handed anything, right? Yeah. And he took roles and jobs so he's been through it, which also helped a ton.
So that's the thing, you know, that stuff helps. You know what I mean? So look. Hey, Mike, see the helmet? I told you, I'm over my time limit. The baby's here to take over the show. I get a little bit of time. Dang, man, clear the background, show the guys the weight room, man. I'll tell you, Al, listen, you're gonna have to put your kids with these guys' kids, bro. Cause I'm telling you, they be having them suited and booted. You see, she got it with the helmet on. Dame about to show you the bench press and the curl.
You know, we Haitian, bro. Pootie playing soccer, man. My dad already got him.
Hey, Dan, look at this, Dan. You see this bench press he's got for my boy?
Hey.
Oh, my God, yo.
Hey, listen, my wife's a physical therapist, and she teaches all about it, like movement is medicine from whatever age till you're 1,000.
Nice.
Movement. She would love that. She would absolutely fall in love with a kid having their own bench press. Like that's.
I'm telling you. Listen, man, I got the best on here, man. But like again, let me say this. Thank you to each and every one of you guys, man, giving me y'all time. You know, it was definitely a lot. Mike, thanks for stepping on the show, giving some of these old coaches some help. You know what I mean? Or maybe how we could, you know, sway a couple of calls our way. Who knows?
That man's a lifesaver, bro. I blow up his phone probably more than his wife. Like, I'm all over it, dude. He got to hear from me every day.
A bottle of bourbon, he'll get you whatever you want. I have.
Listen, man. Listen, he should have made me subscribe. I'll get him whatever he wants, dude. Johnny Walker Blue on the way.
You already know, man. So again, this was. I think I'm on my 6th edition of the Coach's Corner right now, man. I think I'm doing pretty well at it.
Appreciate
Aaron,
you, man.
Hey, listen, I'm trying, man. Something new that I picked up. A lot of people was telling me, you know, Don, do a podcast. You give out great information. Yeah, this guy that's tipping his head to the side, Coach Dane. Like, yo, it's good information that you give out, and being unbiased with the information. You know, that's key. And I like all of my
the
guests
most important thing
here. You got to be unbiased, you know, and I like to have, you know, guys like Coach Shee, Coach Al, Coach Derek, Coach Dane, they come at it with a real unbiased type opinions. So that way these parents and these kids can understand what's the real thing that had to be the main thing, you know, got to make the main thing the main thing. I don't want to hear.
As you talking, your boy just forced a fumble at the goal line, but it was recovered by the Ravens.
That's okay, man. He need to keep getting money. His contract, you feel me? Big shout out to my boy Rasul Douglas over there at the Buffalo Bills. We having a good night tonight. As you can see, Brandon puts the score up. I don't care what the Ravens are doing. I'm still saying my boy.
Now, whoever paired Derrick Henry up with this O-line, that's
Hey, well, you know, cheat codes come and go. So we'll see how this thing works out. But like I said, this is the end of our segment. I'm going to do this again in another 2 weeks. Dan, if you want to jump on board, you know, feel free. Mike as well. Like I said, every 2 weeks, I try to do this on Sundays at 9 o'clock. Hopefully it don't be a good game like it's on right now. We'll be missing out on it. You know, we got you know.
Hey, the Buccaneers game was earlier, Coach. You're good.
There we go.
Shake and bake, baby.
You already know. I love it. So again, if anybody wanted to follow me on any of my social media platforms, my Instagram platform is DMFootball258. My Facebook platform is Driven Minds, and my Twitter platform is Dan Football 258. So, and then like you said, Dan, any type of stuff as far as schematics or just, talking about football fronts and just how to defeat certain things. Wing T is big up here in Jersey. So every now and then I got to tap my brain into Wing T, and it's crazy because we're in the spread era, but then you get that one Wing T team like Union City and I got to deprogram my whole brain and stuff. So,
All
we could definitely talk about
Wing T anyway. It's all the same thing.
It's all
the
the
same. Yeah,
concept.
thank
the concept
you,
be
Steve.
right
Thank you.
there.
Thank you. It all came from the same damn place, bro.
You already know. So, like I said, man, you guys always feel free. Hit me on the social media networks, anything. Hit these coaches here, these good men right here on their networks. And you know what? Let me run it around the table. Let everybody introduce their networks. So that way anybody that's watching us right now, they could tune into you. So Dan, you can start and just spin it all the way around.
I appreciate that. Number one, just reach out to me. If you're a coach, if you're youth coaches, anybody that needs a consult, man, that's what I'm doing right now with my career is consulting for coaches. So Chamberlain Football Consulting. You can find me on Patreon to kind of find some levels of different prices, what you need, things are priced on. If they're too much, just holler at me. We'll figure something out. I've got a little YouTube I just started. It's in its youth stages. And then listen to the podcast, man. That's the Football Coaching Podcast with Joe Daniel. And then Coaching 101 Podcast with Kenny Simpson. That's a couple places that you can hear me talk. We talk every week on usually Sundays and Tuesdays. Those are posted, depending on which one. And you can be up on Twitter at Coach Chambo. Okay, that's the best place. My Facebook is like my personal one that has gone a little bit business. But Daniel Bryce Chamberlain, you can find me over there.
Mike, go shoot. Let them know where you're from, what you got cooking.
All right, you can find me. My podcast is called Whistle Talk, so you can find that on any of the major podcast platforms. My social media, just look up Mike D, the referee, and if you ever got any questions, you can always hit up Coach Derek, and he'll forward it to me. You can hit up my email too, MikeDthereferee@gmail.com. I'm out here to help. I'm just trying to grow the game the best way that I know how to, and staying involved. So hit me up, take a listen to a couple of my episodes. I break down particular penalties and different things like that. And again, all trying to help the fans, the coaches, the players, all just learn the game a little bit more from a different perspective.
Coach Al, shoot, you up.
Well, Coach Al, I've been getting a lot of feedback from my kids, man. So in the spring, unfortunately, I'm starting the Jersey DB factory. I have a lot of kids, man. I'm talking about a lot of kids from different regions, from north to south. And they told me, hey, Coach Al, you just got to start it, and we'll start coming and supporting. So that's going to start off in the spring. But you can follow me on my socials at _AlPetit, _ALPETIT. And also, man, keep rooting for these underdogs teams and these underdog schools like the East Sides of the world, the KIPS, or even the smaller scale schools, the preps, the charters, the academies, because a lot of these kids need to be seen in those opportunities.
Indeed. Derek, shoot, you got it.
Man, first off, thank you. I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you letting me come on, man, and talk some ball. You had some great guys on here, and I really appreciate it. If you guys want to find me, Instagram at Coach Deepa. That's CoachDepa. And then my Twitter is at Coach D NUC Sports. And like I said, I do a podcast with Dane Schumann. We talk a lot of different topics. We have a lot of guests on and whatnot. It's called the Prospect Podcast. They're on all your media sites that you can find podcasts. So check it out, man. I appreciate it. And I look forward to more.
Let's do it. Sheet, go for it.
Yeah, I'm hold on.
Hey, Derek, and he closes the show like the champion he is.
Bro, you knew it was gonna be some type of mic drop. That's like, hey, we good? All right. Listen, I expect nothing less, dude. We good.
You got it, Sheed.
Pretty much, I'm on Instagram. That's where you can really find me, Coach Sheed, SH with 3 E's and the D. That's really where you can find me at. I'm on Twitter, Coach Rashid Darasol. But I appreciate you guys that's on this panel. It's great to meet you guys. I already know most of you, Derek and Coach Dame. But this is great for the culture and really spreading knowledgeable information. So I'm just happy to be a part of it. But again, you can reach me out on Instagram, Coach She with 3 E's.
Dame, shoot.
I got the little ones, man. They ain't, it's over.
Family mate. Let's go.
But he wilding right now. But you know, you can find me, North Stratus Track Club, Eastside Football. I really don't run the social media pages. I do approve the post though. I just be hands on. I'm real hands on with everything I do. I mean, you need speed, I'm your guy. That's it.
All right, that's what I'm talking about, man. And like I said again, my name Don Massey, head of Driven Minds LLC, as you can see underneath. DM Football 258 is where you can find me on Instagram and Twitter. And if you're on Facebook, you can find me at Driven Minds. Again, I'm just trying to be a light in a dark place, so that way anybody can look for something that to get to, just find my way. Like I said, fellas, thank you, and thank you again. Like I said, in 2 weeks, I'll shoot you guys a link. We'll come back up here and turn it out again. Next week, let's talk all on, man. Let's talk some schemes, man. Like I said, let's do that. Dang, what's up? You got some?
Orange this week.
Who got orange this week, you?
Oh boy.
Oh Lord, here we go. So they talk. Well,
They might have the funniest coach in up there though. Yo, he is but he wants everybody though. He wants everybody. I like it.
Yeah, well, listen, he's getting it right now. So
these stars was on.
You gotta be careful what you ask for, because like we talked about this new era that we're in, you will be a meme. So
real fast.
Real fast. So you gotta be careful about how you talk that talk.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I enjoy, man. He's a good. He mean well.
Let me tell you, he's a great sport because he takes it on the chin. Some jokers be ready to call NJSIA on you, like they're cyberbullying me. So I gotta love the way how he's playing it, man.
These stars get him crazy.
Yeah, that's how it goes, man. When the rabbit got the gun, you gotta kind of take it. But like I said, I think next time we'll come on, I want to talk like some schemes. You know what I mean? Like we run a 3-3-5 defense at West Orange. I like it as a very interchangeable defense. Some people don't like it when they want to double tight me, try and ground and pound me out, but it's all good.
That's all right. We're going double tight and make you fit, baby.
That's how it goes. I already know. There it is. Know how you coming. See,
you're opening up a can of worms, bro. You better
it's all
before we have a whole other show.
That's why I said to be continued.
Appreciate you, man. All right, fellas, be good.
Thank you, guys. Good luck.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Good luck. Get after it. We'll talk soon.